Today I have 5 reasons your adult child may stop talking to you, but refuses to explain why. Number 1, they don't know how to explain it. Many adult children struggle to put words to their feelings. They may feel hurt, misunderstood, or emotionally unsafe, but can't clearly articulate what caused it. So silence becomes their form of protection. Some kids don't go no contact because they hate you. They go quiet because they don't know how to say, you hurt me.
No. And he alluded to something there. They feel unsafe in expressing themselves. However, he's blanketing it with, we don't have the ability to articulate how we're feeling. No. We don't give you, estranged parents, the receipts that you're looking for so that you can tear apart how we're feeling, which is causing us to take space from you. He said something else in there. Hold on. Sorry. Well, why am I because I'm a trauma survivor. I apologize. So the thing about the hate, I'm sorry if this is a little choppy, but I want to go point by point, and I will play his video in the entirety at the end of this video. I don't know about all of you, any of you, and you can drop a comment. Please drop a comment. Not you can. I'm not giving you permission. I'm asking you to drop a comment. How many of you actually hated your parent when you went no contact? I didn't. I still wanted her to show up. I still wanted her to love me. And I didn't want to go no contact. I went no contact because it was what was best for my children and how I wanted to raise them in emotional safety, that sort of thing. I didn't hate my mother. In fact, it would take a really long time for me to make space to hate her, to hold space for my anger in relationship to my grief, for all the things that she did to me and all the things that I lost as a result of that, and all the alterations to my life that were a direct result of the things she did to me. That sort of thing. So how many of you hate? Show of hands. I would love to see it. Okay, here we go.
Number 2, they're avoiding confrontation. Some don't want to fight or emotional conversations they feel unprepared for. It's easier to withdraw than risk saying something they'll regret or facing uncomfortable emotions. Silence feels safer than honesty when someone's afraid of conflict.
Is it fear, or is it the common sense that there's no conflict resolution available? If we knew how to conflict resolve with our parents, by the way, they're the ones who are supposed to create the safe space for us to do that and teach us how. If we had that available to us, I would say there'd probably be no estrangements, pretty much, outside of alcoholism and things like that. I'm just saying, if we had the ability to have conflict resolution with our parents, that's an indicator that our parents care how we feel, would have created a safe space, and therefore we would be able to have these hard conversations, because at the end of the day, we know that we're loved, we're safe, we're listened to, we're validated, and that, our parent has the willingness to respect boundaries and not continually weaponize our boundaries against us. So again, these things that he's saying, where are the words of, because you didn't create a safe space for them, this is how they're feeling? Maybe it's coming? I don't know.
Number 3, they've been influenced by others. Partners, friends, or even therapists can shape how they see family relationships. If someone convinced them distant equals healing, they may follow that advice, even if it's one-sided. Sometimes they're not mad at you. They're loyal to someone who needs you to be the problem. Think about that, y'all.
Think about that. Okay, let's think about that. When there are other influences involved, it's usually because they're going, that's not normal, right? because child abuse was normalized for us. You know, like, your parents a little bit controlling. Why are you so upset every time you go to see them? Well, you know, my mother told me this and that about myself today, and, you know, she made me do these things, and then she got really angry at me. And, oh, I'll give you a good example. Actually, one comes to mind, because my ex-husband was a turning point for me. He was the turning point in me starting to understand that I was the child, she was the adult, and it wasn't my fault. I was, I think, 20 when we met. He's 13 years older, degree in psychology. How about that? Bonus, not for my mother. And he was like, you know, 13-year-old kids don't run away from home because they're bad. And I'm like, huh? But I am the bad one. Like, that was a novel idea for me. He's like, no. You know, having a mother whose husbands you meet after she marries them, that's not the way most people grow up. That's not healthy. Huh? You get the picture here? Like, having a mother who immediately upon meeting me tries to tell me that basically you're a tramp. I was going to use another word because I think she was trying to say, like, a million men got me pregnant because I was a teenage mom at 17. Isn't the way that mothers are supposed to, you know, parents or be mothers. Like, that is her trying to make me think poorly of you, and that's not normal. These are just like little examples. Watching me try to convince her that I cleaned my daughter's ears and that I was a good mom was painful for him. He's like, you know you're a good mom. You know that I hate good mom, bad mom. You know that you take care of her. Did you clean her ears today? And I'm like, well, of course I did. Then why are you defending it? Because I've always defended myself, because my mother makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. So that's where those outside influences come into play. And here's the other thing. The people that are hurt by these people are the ones who seek therapy. We're not the ones who should be in therapy. They should be in therapy, but, you know, so that they don't cause the pain that creates our need to go to therapy. And therapy does point out to us that we're okay, that we didn't deserve to be treated that way, that as children we were lovable, and that our parents should have done better. Therapy is not, oh, don't ever talk to them again. Therapy is about building tools and self-esteem and creating boundaries. And fortunately for us, as we create those, we become more well-rounded, happier adults. Unfortunately for them, it becomes glaringly clear that they have lost control. And so therefore, they can't handle a relationship with us, and they weaponize those boundaries against us, thinking that we're going to cave back into their supply because they couldn't imagine a world where they lost control over their extension of self, their child. We are props to them. We aren't people. So yes, a third party. And it isn't out of loyalty to the third party. It's about loyalty to ourselves and not being willing to continually self-abandon and betray ourselves to be in a relationship with someone who is systematically, continually hurting us. And I say systematically because when you know that there's a boundary in place and you go after those boundaries, you're using a system of control, or you think you are, because, you know, you still see that child as your property.
Number 4, they're not ready to take accountability. That's just plain and simple. Owning their role in the relationship breakdown might mean facing guilt or shame. Silence keeps them from having to look in the mirror. You can't force healing from someone who still needs you to be the villain. You can't force healing from someone who still needs you to be the villain.
Accountability. Raise your hand if throughout your entire childhood and maybe even some of your adult life, until you went into therapy, all you did was take accountability and try to be the, I'll say for me, daughter, could be son, that was lovable enough where your parent would start to be a safe person. Like, raise your hand if you spent your entire childhood being accountable for how everything around you rolled out. And so you became that child who morphed into what everybody needed you to be in order to be likable and lovable. Going to therapy was about, for me anyway, having that accountability taken off my shoulders, that responsibility, and placed where it belonged, because I didn't raise myself. I didn't damage myself. That was done to me, and I took ownership of it. This guy is something else. I don't know his estrangement story, by the way. I did scour his page because I wanted to look for how many kids, how many is he estranged from, is he an estranged parent? There are a lot of these coaches out there who are targeting estranged parents who they themselves are not actually estranged. That's something I've been learning along the way. I was going under the assumption, which ass out of you and me, and I should have done better homework there, that these creators were also estranged. Not all of them are. I don't know if he is or isn't. I can't imagine being his adult child and wanting to be in a relationship with him, but hey, that's just me. Maybe it's you too.
Number 5.
They think
distance equals peace.
Some truly believe
staying in the healthiest option for now, not out of hate, but self-preservation. They may return when they feel emotionally stable or mature enough to reconnect. Distance doesn't always mean done. Sometimes it means I need to grow without you watching. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think about these 5.
There's truth in that one. Distance does equal peace and healing. Distance means that the person you're taking distance from because they're hurting you no longer has the access to give you more things that you have to unpack and try to heal from. Taking that space allows us to stabilize. You know, if you showed up at a hospital and you were on fire, they put the fire out to treat the wounds. If you are in a relationship with someone who's continually setting you on fire and you're trying to treat the wounds, it's less effective. I'm not going to say it's impossible because it's not. All that to be said, he's also right that sometimes they take space and it doesn't mean they're done. They will come back in. And as a matter of fact, in my experience as a therapist that deals with narcissistic family systems specifically, and I have clients who are in all different forms of relationship or non-relationship, one size doesn't fit all. A lot of what I see is that in the first 3 years, and I count myself in that, we go back and we try to have a relationship with our estranged parent. And there's a few things going on there. One, we want to see if in our absence they have done any work, if they're interested in healing our relationship, if maybe they've developed some tools to be able to do that, if they've matured, if they've gone to therapy and all the things. The other part to that is a lot of estranged adult children want to go in and teach them the skills that they've learned, hoping to heal that parent to the point where they're able to have a relationship with them. And then the final one, if none of those things are working, is coming back in going, well, I'm strong enough now. So if they, set me on fire, I've got a fire extinguisher in my back pocket. It's not going to bother me. I can put those things aside and enjoy the good part of the connection that I have. And in some cases that works, and in some cases it doesn't. More often than not, it doesn't. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know. I have an estranged adult child who has no relationship with their mother, and their father was an enabler and has she has come to terms with who her father is. Actually, I have more than one client in this situation, who their father is and what his part to play was. In all of these situations, the father has not taken accountability. However, they have a relationship of other commonalities that they both enjoy. And the father is respecting the boundaries of not doing crossover, meaning not talking about the mother to the adult child, and not giving the adult child's information to their knowledge to the mother, and really just kind of focusing on nurturing the relationship that they have. And in those situations, it works quite well. Sometimes we don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. In those situations, they have access to their history, to connection with a parent that in other ways was a good parent to them, healthy parent, loving parent, whatever you want to call it. I hate good and bad, black and white. And they're able to enjoy that interaction and even have somewhat of a support system from that parent. These are not black and white situations. However, that being said, the patterns of behaviors on behalf of these parents in the estrangements are pretty consistent. And the ones that are going to remain estranged are not pretty consistent. They are practically exact. I don't like absolutes, right? They are dead set on being right, on changing nothing, and that we're just disrespectful and ungrateful kind of thing, right? So those ones are always going to stay estranged, and that's why. And then you kind of have, the other estranged parents who are people who can grow and get help if they choose to, who are emotionally immature, and who also have particular types of behavior. And what I see a lot with those is the disrespect word, and I see a lot of guilt and manipulation in their parenting style. So, and there's areas of gray along there. And then there's the parents who were emotionally immature in the child's childhood and in adulthood are actually in therapy and maturing and doing better and being responsive to their adult child's needs and boundaries. And those relationships, 100,000% repairable. I was in that camp, actually. I was estranged over 20 years ago from my eldest daughter. It lasted less than 3 years. It was on and off in that period. And when she trusted me with her vulnerabilities and her feelings as to the things that she needed me to take accountability for, the things that hurt her, I was there for her, and it was only about her. And for the past 20 years, we have been in a very solid relationship. She calls me for parenting advice. I like to think that I am her biggest supporter. I don't speak for my adult child. I think that I am, and she knows that I'm her rock, and I always will be until my last breath on this earth, because that's my daughter. That's my adult child. And we've had times we've had to create boundaries for each other, and we both respect them. It's not that difficult. So, I'm not coming at this from one lens, is what I'm trying to share for anyone who's new here. I've had a variety of experiences, and I am a therapist in this field. And I'm going to tell you right now that this person, I think he's coaching people, is very tunnel visioned. And whenever I hear somebody speaking this way, I know that they're just capitalizing on estrangements rather than really trying to help estranged parents understand that they can do better in helping them. And, the way he packages it almost seems helpful. However, he's leaving out pieces. They didn't feel safe enough because maybe you didn't create an environment where they felt emotionally safe. They are conflict avoidant because, maybe if you look back, there are times that you didn't help them to avoid conflict. Like, there's things he could pepper in there that would paint this in a different light. However, the fact that he doesn't is really putting the blame on the children, right down to they don't want to take accountability. They don't want to look in the mirror. When really as children, that's exactly what we were doing when we weren't supposed to, because our parents made us think that it was our fault. I'll leave this here. Thank you so much for being here. Just so you know, I make special content in my members section. So there's a join button on this video. If you're interested in having more personal interaction, personalized videos and things like that, hit the join button. It'll give you all the information on how to do that and what levels of membership you can have. And if not, enjoy all of the content that I have out here at large. I do answer comments on all the videos. I do. And that being said, on the members part, I prioritize those a little bit. That's all. So anyway, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the growth, because we are all growing together. I'll see you soon.